you ask someone that wasn't an ATV enthusiast, that hasn't ridden quads their whole life, dirt bikes, motorsports, etc., and you ask them, can you name me one ATV that you know of? I guarantee you they're going to say the Yamaha Banshee. The Yamaha Banshee is probably and arguably the most iconic ATV ever made. Most people know the Yamaha Banshee. They know it from its looks. They know it's from its 350 twin parallel two-stroke engine. They know it from that iconic two-stroke sound from its dual exhaust. Most people know Banshees in a lot of ways, but most people don't know the history of the Yamaha Banshee. So how did the Yamaha Banshee even come to be? What made Yamaha want to build such an iconic vehicle? I'm going to explain that to you right now. So if we travel back to the 1970s, as some of you may not know, most street bikes were two strokes. And Yamaha back then made the RD350, which was an absolute smash hit success for Yamaha. And it had pretty much the early development of this engine in it. Or should I say that engine evolved into the engine that was put into the Yamaha Banshee. After the RD350 success, Yamaha later made the RZ350. And for those of you that are fans of Yamaha or the Banshee in particular, some of you may not know this, but the 2006 anniversary edition Banshee was actually designed to have the graphics commemorate the RZ350's graphics, hence the anniversary edition, if you will. So Yamaha had a motor, but why did they put it in the Banshee? So in the 1980s, the quad wars, if you will, became a thing. Yamaha needed to compete with Kawasaki, Suzuki, Honda, etc., into a growing and evolving ATV market. So they needed to scramble to be able to put together something quick so they didn't miss out on competing with the big other makers. So they slapped the RZ350 motor into a sports quad chassis, and the Banshee was born. And they say history repeats itself, and that indeed it does. And we've seen this pattern happen throughout history, also in the automotive world. Take, for example, the Cadillac Escalade. The Cadillac Escalade has been the best-selling Cadillac model and the best-selling full-size luxury SUV since its debut, or since its second generation for that matter. But the Cadillac Escalade wasn't a genius idea by General Motors. It was actually an afterthought. When the Lincoln Navigator came out in 1997, General Motors started to panic. They saw Lincoln, an American luxury brand, making a full-size SUV, and they needed a piece of the pie, if you will. So the Cadillac Escalade was born. They essentially took a GMC Yukon Denali, slapped a Cadillac emblem in the grille, Cadillac emblem on the interior, and called it a Cadillac Escalade. It wasn't until the second generation Escalade that Cadillac really started putting some thought and effort into R&D to make the Escalade differentiated from the Tahoe and the Yukon, and the rest was history. We also have seen this again in the automotive industry with BMW. When the BMW X5 came out, people were mocking BMW, saying, why would you take a company that was known for making luxury sedans and sports cars, whether it was a convertible, a coupe, or whatever the case may be, and make an SUV? But it wasn't long until the other companies started to follow suit with Mercedes, even Porsche with the Cayenne. And to this day, that is one of the biggest markets in the world as far as cars go. I mean, SUVs are dominating the automotive market in today's world. And it all started because of one person's idea. So now we know how Yamaha made the Banshee. We now know why they made the Banshee. But how about the name? What does Banshee even mean? It's not some Japanese word that they just picked out of thin air. So if you look at the origin of the word Banshee, it actually comes from Irish folklore. And Banshee was an evil spirit, often depicted as a woman, that would shriek and scream, foreshadowing an imminent death about to happen in someone's family. So what a fitting name. I mean, why are Banshees so iconic? We said it already. It's for its engine, for its exhaust, that screaming sound that this two-stroke engine makes. How about the imminent death part? Maybe some could say that it was foreshadowing that Yamaha was just going to kill the competition with the Banshee. Who knows? It's very common for companies to throw jabs at other automakers. It happens all the time. Take, for example, the Dodge Ram TRX. Ford has been dominating the market with the Ford Raptor ever since its debut. There was really no competition to it. So why did Ram choose the name TRX for a Raptor fighter? Well, basically in prehistoric times, in the age of the dinosaurs, the TRX's prey was the Raptor. So what a fitting name for Ram. Good job, Ram. So after all this talk about the Banshee, about how it came to be, why it became so successful, and why it's so popular due to its engine, who on earth would ever take that engine and exhaust note out of a Banshee and make it quiet by putting an EV motor in it? Some might say I'm crazy, but I want to do something different. I want to do something unique, and I want something that's fast. And that's why I'm going to be Stark Varg swapping my Yamaha Banshee. But in order to be able to do so, I'm going to need a Stark Varg, aren't I? Although you could buy the parts individually from Stark's website, which is actually pretty cool, believe it or not, I priced it out both ways. And if I bought every single part that I needed to be able to successfully swap the powertrain with the wiring harness, the gauge cluster, and all the necessary parts, it would have been cheaper to just buy a Stark Varg, which I did. And although I bought the bike about a month ago, I didn't take you guys along for the ride, but I never did you dirty. So why don't we travel back in time to when I bought the Stark Varg, and then we'll go from there.
Let's go. Yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. Never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. Pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last.
I was built to last. When the webs are weaving, I could change the past. With all I'm achieving, got my foot on gas. Never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna end.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy. Think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me. I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic, you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic.
Built to last. With the webs I'm weaving, I could change the past. With all I'm achieving, got my foot on gas. Never stop competing. If you break break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah.
All right, so to fire this bad boy up, you hold this button. Hear the click? All right, so you can see the gauge cluster over here. So right now the bike's in neutral. And if you hit the bottom button, that should give you, oh, that's crawl mode. How do we get, okay, oh, we don't want full power mode yet, but these are all the different modes. So if you hit this button, so the default power mode, #1 from Stark, gives you 33 horsepower. And if you want, you could manually increase the amount of horsepower that you're using. But for now, we're gonna leave mode 1 in the standard Stark mode. And then this is your regenerative braking. So just like an electric car, when you let off the throttle, it slows the vehicle down. And then, that power is used to, recharge the battery. So like I said, mode 1 is from Stark, and then you could customize all of the other modes however you want. So I think the previous owner kind of already messed with these, but if I wanted to lower this, I could just hit save, and then it saves that mode.
All right, we're going.
I'm a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. Hey. Let's give the bike a good old-fashioned cold start.
Sure, it'll sound great.
All right. I think we're good to go. It's that easy. That was just power mode 1, and like this thing f***ing rips, dude.
1 out of what?
5. So that was 33 horsepower. Let me see. This is mode 2. I'm like afraid to put it in 5, dude. You know what I mean?
We'll work our way up there. I don't think he meant to do that. I feel like that first one was unintentional, the first wheelie.
Yeah, no, I wasn't like expecting that. And what's mode 2? That's only like 45 horse or something.
Half of what it's capable of outputting.
Mode 2 is 48 horse. Dude, I'm honestly like, I don't think I can put it in 80, dude. Like that's...
Let's just look at the difference in the tire treads we got. Slick.
Thing is gnarly, dude. Holy shit.
Mode 2.
Dude.
Baby.
Jesus Christ, man. Yeah, power mode 1 doesn't really like want to do a wheelie. Dude, this thing is stupid fast.
The Stark Future.
Dude, I'm afraid to put it in wide open mode, dude.
Give it the Tony Stark setting.
I know. This is 3.
Try to drain my energy, the enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me, I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this, freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus, living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it, go on and take your aim. Yeah. Built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the human. The things in the past, move on from the breathing. Put your foot on the gas, no, never stop competing.
This thing is f***ing nuts, dude.
All right, let me ride it.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, this thing is f***ing scary, dude. Like when the nose, like if you just lean into the throttle, like mode 3, which was like what, 50 something horse, you just give it the gas and the thing's just like instantly going up. I was trying to like lean forward to like be able to gas it, and then it was doing a burnout. You know what I mean?
It's a pretty nice burnout you did.
Dude,
And have a throttle of,
thumb throttle.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all dirt bikes are twist throttle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It just makes it like sketchier when you're
Dude, holy
got so
shit.
much power.
Get the old whiskey throttle going on.
All right, so I know what you guys are thinking. Why the f are you putting a Stark Varg powertrain into a Yamaha Banshee? I have 2 words for that. 80 horsepower. When I built my old Banshee, I did everything from the ground up, powder coated everything, had the motor rebuilt by a very reputable local engine builder that was building motocross motors his whole life. If you live in Connecticut, you all know Chug, but I did a standard 350 Yamaha engine. I didn't want a stroker kit or anything like that. Pipes, carburetor, the whole 9 yards. Went through that motor top to bottom. It was new crankshaft, pistons. It was a hot rod crankshaft kit for the engine. I bought a brand new Yamaha head that was milled down to bump the compression a little bit. And I wanted it to be as perfect OEM Banshee as possible, but with a little extra juice, if you will. And I researched every single Banshee color combination from every single year they ever made. And the one that I actually went off of was a 2010 model year. And for those of you that know Banshees at all, they stopped making them in the US in 06, but they made them overseas until 2012. I believe it was in Australia, Puerto Rico, New Zealand, and I think Canada, and probably Japan. But 2010 and 2012 color combo was the red, white, and blue, which is what I did on my old bike. And that quad was just badass. I mean, it was everything that I ever wanted for a Yamaha Banshee. And now I'm doing another one, but I wanted to do something different or unique. I've seen street bike motor swaps in Banshees, whether it was an R6 motor, R1 motor. I've seen, insane 350 Yamaha motors built up to be put into Banshees, but I have yet to see an electric swap into a Banshee. And there was no better donor than a Stark Varg. I mean, this bike was built to run as a motocross vehicle. The engine and battery should, fit no problem. Obviously little modifications necessary, but it was designed to work in a vehicle like this. And like I said, I just wanted to do something different. I mean, there's been thousands of Banshee builds that have been done all around the world. I mean, look on the internet, YouTube, you'll see them. But I have yet to see a Stark Varg swap into a Banshee. And where I was going with this in my head was I wanted to build this bike as if Yamaha was making a Banshee in 2025. And with that, I want to take every single mechanical and electrical piece off of this bike and put it into the Banshee. When I say everything, I mean everything. So first off, I want to take the entire handlebar setup. It has the digital gauge cluster, all the controls for the bike, the electric throttle, all of that. We're going to swap the entire unit over into the Banshee. This bike is pretty sick. It has all different modes you could customize. So you could basically change the amount of power that's running through the bike right at the fly. So you could go anywhere from as low as 10 horsepower all the way up to 80 horsepower in increments of 1. So when I rode this bike a couple weeks ago and I was test riding it, I started off with like 20 something horsepower, which I think is the Stark's Mode 1, the way it comes calibrated from the factory. And I got it up to 48 horsepower and I was shitting my pants. I mean, after that, like this bike had so much torque. It was just either doing a wheelie instantly or it was just blowing the rear tire off and the bike wanted to go sideways and just do a burnout. And it was scary. Like I said, I rode dirt bikes. Actually, I rode quads my whole life, snowmobiles. I rode dirt bikes here and there, but I never, was an experienced dirt bike rider to the point where I had the confidence to really be on this thing as some other people might have the balls to do in the world. But this bike is stupid fast and stupid scary. But I think it's going to be a little bit more manageable in a quad platform. The quad's basically just going to be a burnout machine. And I know a lot of you don't know me, but I like to do burnouts. And this thing is going to just absolutely melt the tire, which is what I want to accomplish. So another feature of this bike that I'm excited to swap into the Banshee is the brakes. So for any of you that know electric cars at all or electric vehicles, they have regenerative braking. So basically, you're on the throttle. As soon as you let off the throttle, the vehicle starts to slow down, and the energy that is um, generated from that, if you will, uses to recharge the battery in the machine. So we're going to be taking the brakes off of this bike, which are Brembos. And anyone that knows brakes heard the name Brembo before. I mean, any supercar you could think of, whether it's a Ferrari, Lamborghini, Corvette, they have Brembo brakes. They are the brake company. So I'm actually going to buy a second caliper directly from Stark. They sell them individually on their website, and that way we'll have dual front calipers. And then we're also going to take the rear caliper off this bike to put that on the Banshee as well, so we could utilize that feature. I feel like it would be pointless to do this entire swap and not use every single feature of this bike. It's just so high tech, it's so cool, and I want to make sure that it's all utilized into this build. So like I said earlier, my vision for this bike is to make it believe that Yamaha made this Banshee from the factory in 2025. So for you that were watching my other videos, I went out to visit my buddy Dan in New Hampshire, who helped me fix the engine. And I'm going to be going back up to visit him, and we are going to make custom motor mounts for the battery and for the engine to make sure that it fits into the quad safely and securely. And we're going to eliminate anything off of the Banshee frame that was utilized for the original engine, whether the exhaust, the motor mounts, all those points of the frame. I want the frame to be very clean, and I want it to look to the naked eye as if it was designed and built to be an electric vehicle from the beginning. So that's the plan. And also, I feel bad. So for all you guys that have been watching the videos previously, I did a video on fixing the engine. I did a video on polishing the exhaust. A lot of you were probably thinking, well, if you're just going to be doing a full rebuild, why did you take the new frame that isn't bent and make it into a rolling chassis when you should have powder coated it first, or whatever the case may be? But here's the reason why. I want to make sure that we could properly mount the engine into the chassis of the Banshee. And the only way to do that is to make sure that the sprocket here is lined up with the rear sprocket of the Banshee. So I needed a rolling chassis. If it was just a bare frame, it would have you would have just been chancing it and it wouldn't have lined up and it would have been a complete waste of time. So that's the plan over here. Also, before I'm going to end up selling the motor that was out of the Banshee, and I didn't want to sell a motor that was damaged. Whoever buys it, I wanted them to just have a ready to rock Yamaha 350. So that motor is 100% ready to go. I fixed everything that was wrong with it. It's perfect, to be totally honest. I mean, whoever buys it, throw it in a quad, throw it in a dirt bike, do whatever you want with it, but it's ready to rock. I replaced all the seals on it. I fixed the engine chain damage. It's good to go. So if anyone wants a Banshee motor, hit me up because it's going to be for sale. With my other Banshee build, when I took that thing apart and I reassembled it, I literally powder coated every single piece of that bike. It was one of the cleanest Banshees I have ever seen. Not just saying that because it was mine, but it really was like attention to detail to the nines. And I want to make sure that I do that with this bike as well. Everything's getting powder coated. I want it to be mint. The name of this channel is Ray's Way, and I want to do it Ray's Way. Any of you that have met me before, you know that I am a very anal son of a gun, and whether it's a car, a dirt bike, snowmobile, Banshee, whatever the case may be, even my house, it's got to be meticulous. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be clean because that's the way that I am. And, sometimes it's crazy because when I built my other Banshee, a lot of my friends were breaking my stones saying, oh, you're never going to ride it. It's too mint. We know how you are, blah, blah, blah. That's how I am. And I'm never going to change. And you should never change either because you are who you are. And that's what makes you you. And if that's how I like to do things, then that's how I'm going to do it. So this build is going to be nothing short of the last one. I actually want to blow it out of the water and make this new build, make the other one look like it was nothing. So that's my plan with this. Top to bottom, everything is going to be minted out. Like I said, every single piece of electronics and mechanics off this bike is going to be put into the Banshee. And I am super excited, and I can't wait for the day where I beat the crap out of this thing and just rip burnouts. But thank you all for staying along for the ride. Actually, my buddy's on his way over right now. He's going to help me dismantle this bike. Shout out to Stark for making a pretty detailed how-to video, bolt for bolt, showing every single step how to remove the battery and the engine out of this dirt bike. I mean, I wouldn't know where to start, and I'd be afraid, to screw something up. But we're going to disassemble this thing right now. It's pretty well engineered because once we take off the body panels and remove all these bolts and whatnot, the bike's designed to just lift the front end up, swing it over, and then the battery will retain onto this engine stand. Stark did a hell of a job building this bike, and it was developed from the ground up to be an electric vehicle. It's pretty much the Tesla Model S Plaid of dirt bikes. It's fast, it's high tech, and it's crazy how it just pretty much smokes everything out there, whether it's a 250 two-stroke, a 450, whatever the case may be. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that these bikes got banned from hill climbs because they are just so powerful and so instantaneous with torque that they just decimate all. It's like not even fair to use one of these in a hill climb. So there's a lot of pros to why I'm swapping this into the Banshee. There's obviously a lot of cons as well. I mean, Banshees are known for their engine. I mean, they're two strokes. You can't even buy a two-stroke quad anymore. That's why the Banshee became so famous. I mean, nothing beats the sound of a two-stroke. Nothing beats power band, twin pipes, twin exhaust, 6-speed manual. I mean, there's so many awesome things about a Banshee that I'm taking away, but I think with 80 horsepower and instant torque, it's going to make me forget that pretty quick. So let's get to it. I mean, I can't wait to get this thing apart and progress on this build. Like I said, sorry again that I kept you guys holding the bag pretty much this whole time, keeping this a secret. But like I said, I figured it was good content to do everything I did to the bike previously, other videos. I had a lot of fun bringing those polished pipes back to life. I didn't want to just get rid of them all rusty like that. I figured it was a good way to show you guys how to do it yourself if you ever were in the same situation, you wanted to bring pipes back to life. Like I said, I wanted the engine to be fully back together and mint for someone who's going to put it into their bike. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's get this thing ripped apart and let's build the world's first electric Yamaha Banshee.